Argh, pussies! Welcome to the Kill Crucifix channel Halloween special. However, it's probably not going to be Halloween anymore by the time you watch this video, but it's the effort that counts. We are going to be going over the lost media of trap metal. If you don't know what lost media is basically pieces of media that are either considered lost, unreleased, or found, or scattered out in the sea where not even pirates can find it. And this video isn't no landlubber iceberg. You're going to be seeing some obscure stuff here. And we have a special guest star for this video, Audacious, my crewmate, who is going to be going over the Nascar aloe section later in this video. So come sail with me as we cruise over the trap metal lost archive. However, some of this stuff is not trap metal, but it's the artist. See you on the other side of the cabin, and let's have a happy Halloween.
Good one, Patrick.
Starting off with one of the biggest names of the genre, Lil Darkie's Lost Archive. Lil Darkie has been making music since the 2010s, but before he picked up the Lil Darkie name, he used to go under the name Brahman. Unfortunately, a lot of Brahman releases have been taken down by Brahman himself, but has been archived by fans, so I'll provide some links in the description if you want to check that out. But I want to talk about one specific lost album that a lot of fans have talked about for years, Psychonauts. Psychonauts is considered the final mixtape under the Brahman name before he switched his name to Lil Darkie. It was also a collaboration project with lesser known Spider Gang member Pubescence, but at the time he was going by Faded Hippie. The mixtape was first announced in late 2017 in a rare music video with Faded Hippie and Brahman called Santa, teasing the cover art at the end of the video with the word spring, indicating that in the spring of 2018 this mixtape will be released. And it did in fact get released on March 28th, 2018. The mixtape had a total of 17 tracks, being released on SoundCloud, with a few songs having their own cover art to them, and was only uploaded for a few months before getting taken down by Brahman in the fall of 2018. The reason behind its removal is unknown. Some fans speculate it's because he wanted to focus on the Lil Darkie era, but that wouldn't be surprising considering that a lot of artists delete their old music before they reach the next level of their career, and Lil Darkie's career started going up since 2018, especially during the coronavirus time. But as Lil Darkie was making new music and getting more fans, his old fans would remember his Brahman days, with people archiving his old music and his videos. But at the time, it seems that nobody had the Psychonauts mixtape in their possession. The only thing that fans had about this mixtape was 2 cover arts and a SoundCloud screenshot. But in November of 2021, 2 songs were resurfaced onto the internet, LA and Vertical Interludes. The tracks were found on a Russian website called vk.com, so it's kinda cool how media gets resurfaced in its own ways. 2 years later, in 2023, the self-titled track Psychonauts would get resurfaced on the internet. So all of this were good signs to the Spider Gang community, knowing the fact that this mixtape could possibly come out one day. And finally, after 7 years of searching, Psychonauts was finally found on the internet in June 2025, where apparently a fan actually had the mixtape downloaded to their phone and decided to share it onto the internet, releasing 17 tracks with the runtime of 1 hour and 2 minutes and 27 seconds. It was also rumored that this album was supposed to have 2 different versions, but Lil Darkie never got to finish the second version, so the only one we have is the one we have now. But Lil Darkie would actually talk about this situation and say, dang, that's crazy someone dug it up. Pretty sure there's still a couple missing, but this is pretty incredible. But however, the 17 tracks actually match the time length of the Psychonauts SoundCloud screenshot that was being tossed around throughout the years, so it's safe to say that the mixtape is fully recovered. Media status found. But unfortunately, this isn't always the case for lost media. Sometimes a lot of media isn't really documented 100%, so not a lot of people know information about it, which leads me to my next topic, Lil Darkie Nowadays. Nowadays is an unreleased project that was announced by Darkie back in 2018 and was supposed to be the first tape under the Lil Darkie name. And this tape was supposed to be a sequel to the Brahman album These Days, where Brahman would switch to Darkie. But however, the album was scrapped due to unknown reasons, and there are no snippets, no leaked songs, or any information about this project really at all. A lot of fans believe that this album was scrapped and remade into the first Lil Darkie album, Kill Yourself, that ended up releasing in the summer of 2018. But it was never confirmed by Darkie or anybody in his team that the songs were reworked and put on this album, so this media is considered a mystery. It's also worth mentioning Lil Darkie's The Lost Dusty tape, not to be confused with Lil Darkie and the Lost Songs that came out in 2022. But this album album was supposed to be released around 2018-2019, but however, there is literally no information about this at all besides the cover art. So again, this is a mystery. Armored Elephant. Armored Elephant is an EP/song that was released by Lil Darkie back in February of 2018. And this was considered the first Lil Darkie song/EP being released before the Kill Yourself album that was released a few months later. The reason why I'm saying song/EP is because all the songs were spliced into one SoundCloud file, and there's only a screenshot of the song's existence. And as of today, we still don't have any information regarding this EP or any leaked music, so this project is considered lost. Now, let's talk about my favorite part about lost media, merchandise. Lil Darkie has had a fair share of merchandise throughout his career, and Darkie has also worked on side projects outside of the Lil Darkie name as well. This is where Katie Is Sad comes in. Katie Is Sad was a limited clothing brand made by Lil Darkie back in 2019, with only selling 4 clothing pieces that were handmade on Instagram. 1 being the Katie hat, 2, a large green Katie shirt, 3, artist black Katie hat, and 4, Katie yarn nip tee. These pieces were being sold through auction, meaning the highest bidder will win the item. And I'm going to assume that each person got their item since there aren't any complaints, except for one person, where this person claims in the comment section that they never received their artist black Katie hat in the mail. So I decided to DM them to ask some more information regarding the hat, and they actually responded back to me saying that they never did, saying, I believe Darkie claimed to have filled out the shipping information wrong and that he had to resend it, but nothing materialized after that. I talked to Wendigo about it not receiving the hat after months, and then after like 6 to 7 months, Wendigo said Darkie would offer a feature to make it right, but that also never materialized. I asked if they ever reached out again, but they said no, so they just gave up. So Darkie or anybody in your team that's watching this, please give this person their merch or their feature. But hey, you know what? It's nobody's fault really. At the end of the day, it is fair to say that this is considered lost. Before we wrap up Lil Darkie's Lost Archive and move on to the next section, I want to talk about the unreleased plushies that Lil Darkie was going to release but ended up never being put in production. Rai13 the Zombie is a music artist and clothing designer who helped Lil Darkie with his first merch line back in 2020. And at the time, it was teased by Darkie and Rai that there will be exclusive Lil Darkie plushies being available sometime very soon. Right here, you will see a video of a Lil Darkie plush with a glow-in-the-dark head, but unfortunately, it never got put in production. I decided to DM Rai13 the Zombie about the situation, and he hit me back up saying that plushie unfortunately never made it to an official release. Me and Darkie talked about it a while back, but never were able to produce it economically large, so it never got officially dropped. I've made a few of them in different varieties and sold to some collectors. This was when he sent me a picture of the plushies. One picture of 2 OG Lil Darkie plushies with a Brahman plushie and another exclusive Lil Darkie plushie that he sold to collectors. This was when he followed up saying, technically, me and Josh never got to officially release them because him and Plague had those small ones he sold back while in production, so these just exist. I'd make more, but out of his career, I'm only keeping these 1 out of 1, unless he says it's okay to make them. So basically, the plushies never got put into mass production. But going back to what Rai was saying about the Plague Boulevard plushies, Plague Boulevard is a clothing brand that worked exclusively with Lil Darkie, being the first brand to help out Lil Darkie with his plushie releases. These plushies were released between 2020 and 2021, with items such as an 8-inch OG Lil Darkie head along with a smaller sized head, a Brahman head plushie, an OG Lil Darkie head plushie keychain, and a more cartoonish styled Lil Darkie head that was released. Each item has been resold on the internet, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get more plushies being resurfaced on the internet, so I would say keep an eye out on Grailed, eBay, and all of those platforms if you want to try to find some rare Lil Darkie plushies or any other items from artists you like. A real quick honorable mention, these are the rare 1 out of 1 Lil Darkie items that were sold back in 2020. Items are ranging from whatever this is, a Lego minifigure, and some shirts. Whoever is in possession of the Lil Darkie Lego figure, God, you're so fucking lucky. But I'm going to keep an eye out myself to see if there are any other Lil Darkie items being sold in the future. But speaking of keeping an eye out, Argh, bitch! That was section 1 of the video. Now, we're going to be going over section 2 with Nascar aloe. But however, I am not going to be talking about it. My very own crewmate, Adocious, will be going over it right now.
Nascar Aloe has been making music since 2013, and without a doubt, Nascar has to have at least a handful of lost media. For example, starting off with one of the most obscure items being his shitty draws. Back in early 2020, a Reddit user claimed that on Nascar's first ever Florida show on September 13, he was given a pair of dirty underwear that Nascar pulled out from the mosh pit of that night. The user would also end up getting his shirt signed by Flacco and Nascar and many other performers. But this is not just any ordinary shirt. This is Nascar Aloe's first ever piece of merch that he released. And if you try to find any pictures or videos of this shirt, it's damn near impossible to find. I've only managed to track down like 3 images and 1 video of this shirt, but it really is kind of impossible to find. Nascar also has a handful of deleted music videos and unreleased ones that are kind of simple to find. One of the first videos that I want to talk about that was recently discovered, or I recently discovered, was the music video for Heaven Part 2. I vividly remember how this video was considered lost media for a good couple of years in early 2020, until a helpful Redditor by the name of Nascar Aloe Archives decided to post a Google Drive link full of unseen and unreleased cover arts and videos. One of these being the Heaven Part 2 music video, where we can see Nascar crying in the video while having a lot of distorted effects over him. It's unknown why the original video was taken down, but if I had to guess, Nascar probably didn't like the whole crying thing in the video, since there's parts where he's vividly distressed. Nonetheless, I'm glad we finally found a full version of this music video, because the only way I found out that this music video even existed was because of the lyric video. That's up on YouTube, and it has the video in the background, but it's only as a loop and not the full entire video. Luckily though, 4 years later, we ended up getting an official high quality music video for Heaven Part 2, which if you ask me, it fits perfectly.
Until they find me on the floor, I felt your love and I can't help but want some more.
I don't know how to play guitar video. This short little visualizer of Nascar, his most emotional song, I Don't Know How to Play Guitar, actually used to have a cool retro style type of visualizer, where we see a little character playing the guitar under a tree, trying to match the cute little vibe of the song. But for some reason, the upload to this song on YouTube is completely gone, and I cannot find it for shit. But thanks again to Nascar Aloe Archives on Reddit for re-uploading this video. The Mickey music video. Nascar Aloe's song Mickey, released June 25th, 2018, was supposed to have a music video, but it sadly got scrapped or cancelled after the footage had gotten corrupted or it wasn't properly stored. Judging by Nascar having to record half the footage through his phone, if I had to guess, this video probably only ever got a teaser, not an official music release. I even tried finding this footage in any old music videos, but I really couldn't find anything related to the video that I'm seeing right now on the screen. But it's really interesting to see that a young Aloe was out here following his dreams. The Watch Me music video. This music video is for a song by the name of Watch Me. This particular song has a very jumpy and upbeat sound, which is something very different from what Nascar typically makes. You can tell that this song was made in his earlier years of high school because of his voice, his deliverance, and he looks really young in the music video. While we only have a low quality version of this song available, there's still 1 minute and 40 seconds missing from this song. And some fans have been searching and trying to remake or even stitch together a full version, but that sadly wasn't even successful. If I had to guess why it got taken down, it probably didn't get the attention that Nascar wanted or he expected, because this song sounded somewhat like a party anthem, which were really popular back then. C'est la vie. This here clip you're seeing right now is a supposed teaser clip that Nascar posted himself on all socials, teasing a new song with the clip of a C'est la vie modeling show with the song in the background. The teaser must have been up for a very short amount of time since nobody was able to fully get the song or the full video. This 20-second video is probably one of the most obscure things we have from this iceberg, but judging off the visuals, you can tell that Nascar was a serious Cardi fan, until y'all know what happened. What you need. This is a long lost song with only very little info to go off of. Best we have is that this song was released during Halloween somewhere in 2017, and it was his first time using his quote-unquote witch flow, which if you ask me, it probably sounds like the Freddy Krueger freestyle or when he uses his raspy deep voice. We also have a Genius page with a couple of lyrics on it, but we're not sure if these are confirmed lyrics. We also have a supposed cover, but it's just a Resident Evil 4 cover. The Lost Song cover arts. Thanks to Nascar Aloe's archive page on Reddit for supplying us with a Google Drive full of Nascar content, including a couple of Lost Song cover arts ranging from early 2016 and 2017. There's a lot of interesting cover arts on here, and some of my favorites being Motion Sickness, produced by GF Retro. If you're an X fan, you probably heard his name countless of times. Hello Kitty Bag Full of Money, which is just a cute MacBook selfie of Kobe, and Officially Fucking Lost My Shit, which if you ask me, it has to be his first hardcore song or his first ever trap metal song. The link to this Google Drive will be down below in the description because I want everybody to go out to see the cool stuff that Nascar has made and that probably hasn't been released yet or nobody even knows exists. I mean, Nascar in his own words has said that he's sitting on over 700 songs in the vault. My guy is sitting on top of albums and albums, and he has yet to give us even 10% of what he has inside that discography. But we can't put Nascar at fault here because a big part of Nascar not being able to release half of what he has made is because of his label or poor management. And since Nascar has been in Death Proof, which has proven to us that they sometimes have scammed their fans, it kind of held him back from releasing a lot of good stuff. And this leads us into our last topic, the Death Proof magazine. It was announced by Death Proof that a 4th issue of a Death Proof magazine was going to be coming out, showcasing all the different artists and maybe even some unseen or unreleased pictures of Nascar, Ali Shrugs, and many other artists. But sadly, it has been at least 3 years since these magazines were supposed to be shipped out, but sadly nobody even received their orders from this drop. And it's really sad how many unfulfilled orders and false promises have been coming from Miyagi because Death Proof at this point is just him. I would really consider these Death Proof magazines lost media at this point unless someone can show us proof that they actually received their orders, because judging off their past actions, Death Proof has always been very scamish to their fans. Yes, they do fulfill orders, and yes, they do sometimes give their fans more than what they promised or even bought for, but Death Proof for Miyagi has seriously ruined their reputation. The No Jumper video. When I was doing a deep dive in my research, I managed to find a very interesting picture of what looked like Nascar in a room entering another room that says No Jumper. Now, for the longest time I've known Nascar, I have never seen him on the No Jumper channel more than once, which is just the Sirens music video. I could have sworn though that Nascar had at least one interview with No Jumper, but I couldn't find any screenshots related to this topic, and I decided to do my own research. Now, what I did find was a picture of Nascar entering this said room. Now, honestly, don't expect Adam22 to release this interview if one was done anytime soon, because I mean, the hairstyle that Nascar had in the time was very different from what he has now. And I also found this picture from a Nascar archive page that posted in August 4, 2022. So yeah, it has been almost 3 years since this was teased and we have yet to see anything. So I really wouldn't get my hopes up, considering that No Jumper is a whole different channel from what it was back then. And well, that about does it for my part of the video. If y'all want to see more of my content, y'all can check me out on the dashes. All links will be linked down below in the description. Shout out Kill Crucifix for having me on this video, and follow me on Instagram, Gus in the Hills. I be very much active on there. Thank you.
Thank you, Latte. That was audacious. Go subscribe to him right now if you haven't. We're going to be going over section 3 of the video right now, so stay in your boat. Keep arms and legs, everything in the fucking boat. City Morgue's Lost Archive. Although it has not been confirmed, well, kinda, City Morgue is no longer a thing. While City Morgue was still active, they would leave a huge discography of music and merchandise that fans still hold on to. City Morgue also has a huge chunk of unreleased songs that either got leaked or will never come out at all. I'll start off with the unreleased City Morgue EP, Bombs in the Mail. Bombs in the Mail EP was an unreleased project that never released, and the reason behind it not being released is still kind of unclear. The story goes all the way back to November 2023, when City Morgue would post on the internet their brand new tour, Bombs in the Mail tour, and also announcing that a Bombs in the Mail EP will be coming out sometime soon. The duo would go on tour for the year 2024. The duo would also go out their way to promote merchandise for both the EP and the tour. But with all the money and effort being put into it, the tour happened, but the EP never came out. Some fans believe that the EP was scrapped because of ZillaKami's allegations that were coming out the same year, and others believe that it was scrapped because of the amount of leaks that were coming out around the same time. Unfortunately, City Morgue were victims to their music getting leaked left to right. However, it is unconfirmed whether the songs that were leaked in 2024 were going to be on the Bombs in the Mail EP. But fans are still upset that they never heard anything about the album, with fans complaining about how they never even played unreleased music during the Bombs in the Mail tour. And fans were realizing that City Morgue wasn't putting in much effort in their music as much as they used to. We are now currently in the late 2025, getting close to 2026, and we still haven't gotten anything regarding the Bombs in the Mail EP, and I don't think we ever will unless it's a leak. So for this EP, media status lost. Speaking of releases that never happened, this was a project that was supposed to be ZillaKami's first mixtape but ended up being scrapped. Don't worry, we'll talk about Sleazy in a little bit. ZillaKami's Anti. Anti was a mixtape by ZillaKami that was scheduled to be released released sometime in 2019, Zilla would actually go out his way and show the track list to his fans, where right here you see a total of 12 tracks with blurred out song titles and features. The features that were supposed to be on this mixtape were Denzel Curry, Brandon Savage, Tankhead 666, and Scarlxrd. So already off the bat, this is a pretty star-studded lineup. This fan also claims that Ski Mask the Slump God said on a live stream that he will be on ZillaKami's album. ZillaKami would also post snippets on his story for his fans to hear. But unfortunately for ZillaKami, in the summer of 2019, the song Frailty would be leaked onto the internet. And the song Laugh Laugh Cry with Brandon Savage would get leaked too, but however I couldn't find when it was leaked. This song was actually reworked and released as Drano, with City Morgue and Denzel Curry being on it instead of Brandon Savage. Despite the leaks, fans were still excited for the mixtape to be released, but ZillaKami would end up quietly scrapping the mixtape, and ZillaKami would end up releasing a whole other mixtape instead called Dog Boy on September 17th, 2021, with the only two features on this mixtape being Lil Uzi Vert and Denzel Curry, completely leaving behind the whole Anti mixtape. However, a curious fan would hit up ZillaKami to ask him about it. What happened to Anti? Anti still exists, but I revamped songs, still Scarlxrd feature, so it's eventually gonna drop. Yeah, all my music eventually will drop. But as of 2025, there are no other leaks besides the two leaks that we have now. So it's pretty much confirmed that this mixtape still exists and is sitting in ZillaKami's hard drive. But I wonder how it would have turned out if we got the Anti mixtape instead of the Dog Boy mixtape. Media status, partially found. Before I move on to Sos Mula, I want to talk about a mixtape that was supposed to come out and got leaked. ZillaKami's Audio Creep. Audio Creep was a mixtape that was supposed to be released right after Dog Boy, being teased all the way back in 2022. However, this mixtape would experience a lot of delays. Right here you'll see an Instagram story screenshot from producer Shoki, who was a producer on the Audio Creep album, saying sucks when you put in 200% effort on these projects, then y'all shit just get pushed back by some motherfuckers in a suit. Meaning that the mixtape was getting pushed back a lot because there were a lot of people behind the scenes not letting it happen, or ZillaKami just didn't want to drop it yet. And unfortunately, in December of 2023, Audio Creep would leak onto the internet. ZillaKami would talk about the situation on his Instagram story and would go on Instagram Live, visibly being upset about how his album just leaked. And fans still wanted this album to come out despite the leak. This is a screenshot where a fan texted Shoki asking if Audio Creep is still gonna come out, and he said that everything is still on the way and ain't gonna let shit stop us. But I guess shit did stop them because the album never came out officially. Audio Creep is still ZillaKami's username on Instagram, but there hasn't been any word on the album at all since it leaked. And now we're seeing ZillaKami push out a new album, Titans, so it kind of looks like the project is abandoned for now. So media status, found. Honorable mention. There was a rumor that Suicide Boys and ZillaKami were supposed to have a track together, where fans speculate that this leaked song, Youth of Today by ZillaKami, was supposed to have Suicide Boys on it. But however, there isn't really any good reliable information to prove that, so this media is considered fake. But I would not be surprised if they actually do have a song in the vault. Moving on to Sos Mula. Sos Mula has been making music for quite some time, even before City Morgue. But instead of rapping on the trap metal beats that he's known for, he was rapping in a more mainstream gangster rap type of flow. Sos Mula has stated in many interviews that he's a big fan of hip-hop altogether. So Sos Mula had a fair share of switching his style from time to time music-wise. This leads me to my topic of Sos Mula, City of God. City of God is an EP by Sos Mula that was supposed to come out in 2015, first being teased all the way back in 2012. Unfortunately, we barely have any information regarding this EP. The only City of God that you'll be seeing on the internet is the fan-made bootleg edition that somebody made, making a mock-up of what City of God probably sounded like, with tracks that Sos Mula have previously released back in 2014 and 2015. So with this information, this mixtape is lost. Sos Mula's Patch Jeans music video. Patch Jeans is a song by Sos Mula that was released in 2024 for the Sleaze Religion album. The music video got taken down for unknown reasons, but a fan actually provided a link on Reddit with the full music video intact, so it's in the description right now. So go download it and re-upload it while you can. But however, Sos Mula has some music videos that probably will never resurface again, unless a true fan really has it. Sos Mula, She's Strippin'. She's Strippin' is a song by Sos Mula that was released in 2012 and actually had a music video for it too. But unfortunately, fans don't have this music video since it has long been deleted. But every here or there, you can see somebody asking for it. But it's very possible that one person has it, probably on their old phone. This media is lost. Can't Beat Us music video. Can't Beat Us is an old song by Sos Mula that was released in 2015 with the song featuring a rapper named Young Licks and had a music video to it, but just like she's stripping, the video was taken down and we don't have any information about it. I want to move on to the Soul Smoola merchandise, so here's a list of other unreleased and lost Soul Smoola content that you can take a look for yourself if you would like to. Merchandise time. Now, these products are more considered rare than lost, but I still want to talk about them. Fuck the 2000s. And no, I am not talking about their clothing. Fuck the 2000s is a clothing brand created by Soul Smoola back in 2020. It doesn't seem like Fuck the 2000s is very active now, but while they were very active, they released a set of these 5 plushies. Not in order though. Cleanup Crew Monster Plush, Scrap the Menace Fuck the 2000s RPG, a Draco, and Baby Sleaze. Each of these products were sold for $100 and only 100 being made. Only 4 of these products are available online right now being resold with some outrageous prices, with the only one not being available online is being the Baby Sleaze plushie. These plushies are very cool to me, and it's very cool to see artists put an effort like this into their merchandise. Media status, rare. We are winding down towards the end of the video, so I would like to give a few honorable mentions before we end it. Scarlxrd's Lost Archive. Scarlxrd has some lost media that fans have dug up or have completely lost. This is where Kickoff comes in. Kickoff is a song that was released by Scarlxrd back in 2015, but however it has since been deleted and only the cover art has been found. Pop Style and Rico. Pop Style and Rico are 2 Drake remixes that Scarlxrd did back in 2016. Both tracks were taken down by Scarlxrd, but however it has been recovered, so you can find those 2 songs available now. The lost Cameron Ozzy and Scarlxrd song. Scarlxrd and Cameron Ozzy were supposed to have a song together back in 2019. The only thing that we have about this song is the snippet that Cameron Ozzy previewed on his Instagram live, and according to fans, the song never dropped because they both had beef and the song was deleted. So to conclude the lost media video, media status lost. And this is my piece of lost media. I have this unreleased music video with Brahman guy that you will never hear and will never come out. Oh, I didn't see you there. Argh! Thank you for watching the whole video. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Leave a review in the comments like Fantano. On a serious note, I want to say thank you so much for watching my videos in the past few months. I know I've been going back and forth with releasing videos, but however, you're going to be seeing more uploads from me very soon. And if you don't follow my Instagram, I recommend you follow me. I hope you had a happy Halloween season. Shout out to Dashes. Shout out to everybody who was involved in the video when it comes to Reddit and everything. Out.
One quick, yeah.
Dude for fucking in the bathroom.
Wow.
Wait, who was it?
I don't fucking know.
I thought you knew who it was. You looked like you knew who it was.